celebrated art and sporting achievement. Now for this hour, we start with US and Iran. Oman has confirmed that further US-Iran talks will take place in Geneva this Thursday, aiming to finalize a deal on Iran's nuclear program. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has emphasized that Tehran is negotiating only on nuclear issues at this stage. He has expressed confidence that a deal can be reached, stressing Iran's right to enrich uranium for peaceful purposes under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. However, U.S. officials, including President Trump, have pushed for zero enrichment. Araghchi also said that Iran is willing to work with the UN's nuclear watchdog to ensure its program remains peaceful. The talks are expected to address both nuclear enrichment and sanctions. Now for this, we welcome Professor David K. Johnston. He's a professor at Rochester Institute of Technology in New York. Joins us live from US. Thank you very much, Professor Johnston, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, how do you analyze the current patience level of President Trump?
Well, several things are going on with Donald Trump. He needs diversions from the Epstein files. He needs diversions from the sharp declines that are underway in the American economy. And at the same time, he needs to not, according to his MAGA base, his Make America Great movement, get himself entangled in a foreign war. He promised when he ran for office no more of these foreign wars involving the United States. So he's trying to get the Iranians to give up any nuclear enrichment. They have no intention of doing that. And what will happen in the talks in Geneva, we don't know, but clearly the Iranians are aware that the large number of military aircraft off their shores mean that the U.S. can launch fighter bomber strikes, missile strikes, and drone strikes. There's no way that there'll be a land assault. Trump doesn't have the right military assets there, including Marines, infantry, cavalry, and amphibious assault vehicles, amphibious landing vehicles.
Right. So how is this setting, or how is this received by his MAGA supporters? The fact that, the U.S. Armada, which is so costly to be ready, steady to near the Gulf or around Iran, is costing them their money, like their taxes.
Well, the soldiers and sailors and pilots are all being paid in any event. So, I mean, you're talking about marginal increases in costs for fuel and some other things. But for the MAGA base, which is being slowly fissured and spread apart, there are two issues, not necessarily to the same people. One is where are the Epstein files that Trump promised he would release, but the other is those who do not want any more Americans involved in war overseas. And Trump is basically telling his followers, I know what I'm doing, trust me, I'm the only one who can fix this. And we'll see how long he's able to hold his alliance together with those approaches. I don't think he'll lose the very deep, radical core of maybe 20% of American adults, but anything above that is highly vulnerable to peeling off from him.
And building on that, from your analysis, do you think MAGA bases are they are aware or cynical about Netanyahu's push or insistence on, attacking Iran, U.S. attacking Iran?
Well, assume extraordinarily large numbers of Americans just know virtually nothing about world affairs, and certainly not in a sophisticated way. But many people in the MAGA movement hold Israel in a special biblical sort of light. And as a result, they're very interested in what happens with Israel. Now, many of them have no idea that Benjamin Netanyahu is on a trial, currently suspended for corruption. They have very little idea, polling has shown, of the level of death and destruction in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces have now acknowledged that the 70,000 dead figure from Hamas's health service is a reasonable number. And so their motivation there is going to have less to do with any of the specific facts, and certainly with nuclear weapons, than with this religious fervor about Israel and a belief that Christians have a special duty to protect Israel because God has commanded them to do so.
And last but not least, what do you think about the delegation that, that Trump has entrusted with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to do this sensitive discussions or negotiations with Iran over its nuclear?
Well, they're both amateurs. Just plain and simple, they are amateurs. Jared Kushner in particular has spoken throughout all of these proceedings with people the Trump administration regards as friendly, like the regime in Saudi Arabia, not with Palestinians who have been cut out of all discussions, even though they're a factor here in what's going on between Israel, Iran, and the fate of the Palestinians. Mr. Witkoff has no experience here, and he is there, as is Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, primarily to tell Trump what he wants to hear.
With that, I'd like to thank Professor Johnston for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, moving the focus on to Mexico. In a major development, Mexican drug